Murder. To murder someone is one of the worst things a person can do to another, if not the worst. To take someone's life away for an unjust reason, such as anger or for the thrill, is just horrible. It isn't just horrible, it's evil. It's bad both for the victim and their family. For the victim, their last moments are of fear, pain, and confusion. Some try to fight back, while others never had a chance. For the victims' families and friends, they had to live with the trauma their loved one is gone. They had to face the murderer at one point, in court, or live with their guilt if they got away. One has to ask, how could anyone be so heartless to kill someone in cold blood? How could someone kill another human just for the heck of it, if it's not self-defense? Sometimes, however, the victim has to ask this: why did that person try to kill them? Sometimes the victim is lucky and will survive their attempted murder. They will have to see their would-be killer again, or fear knowing they are still out there. But these people survived. They held on and lived to tell their tale. They are from different places and times, but one thing is the same: they lived. These are 5 fascinating stories of people who were targets but lived. These are 5 people who survived murder. But before I begin, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications as well. In the summer of 1990, Jennifer Schuett was an 8-year-old girl living with her mom, Elaine, in an apartment in Dixon, Texas. Jennifer was scared of the dark, so she would often sleep with her mom than in her own room. But in the end, she was just a normal kid who liked school and had a close relationship with her mom. This would change on August 9th, 1990. On that night, Elaine had to go to work early, so she asked Jennifer to sleep in her own room. Jennifer was a little scared, but did so. After reading some books, Jennifer would fall asleep in bed. What happened next, she never expected. Jennifer would wake up in a man's arms. The man had entered the apartment through an open window. Jennifer would say she woke up in the man's arms as he ran down a sidewalk. She tried to scream, but he covered her mouth. He forced her into his car and drove off. He tried to convince her he was a cop, but Jennifer wanted some proof he was. They drove into the parking lot at Jennifer's school. When he offered her candy, she was conflicted. She knew not to take candy from strangers, but at the same time, the man said he was a cop. He said her mom would be here soon, but then he drove into an overgrown lot. After that, he attacked her. He held a knife to her throat, asking if she was scared. He choked her and then sexually assaulted her. Jennifer started to lose consciousness. He cut her throat and then dragged her into a field, leaving her on a fire anthill. She tried to scream, but couldn't from the wound. For over 12 hours, she lay fighting for her life. It wouldn't be until the next morning when she was found by some kids. In the hospital, she was treated for all her injuries. She was told as she recovered she may never speak again from the injury on her throat. Jennifer would write what the man looked like in his notes and his car. She even gave his name as Dennis. Despite this, the case went cold. For 19 years, Jennifer wouldn't know who her attacker was, but that changed in 2009. DNA testing had come a long way. The attacker was a man named Dennis Earl Bradford. Bradford had kidnapped before and tried to kill. A license from the time looked remarkably similar to the sketch that was made. Bradford lived in Little Rock, was married, and had 3 stepsons. He worked as a welder. On October 13th, 2009, he was arrested while going to work. He confessed to everything. For Jennifer, it was a relief. She even looked at him in jail. If convicted, he faced life in prison. But that would never come. While waiting for his trial, Bradford strangled himself with his bedsheets. Jennifer felt cheated. She waited 19 years for justice and never really got it. On the 20th anniversary of her attack, she read a statement over his grave. For her, it was as much closure as she would get. Some people have compared this to the Amber Hageman case, wondering if Bradford is her killer. Both girls were kidnapped, had their throat cut, were sexually assaulted, around the same age, both from Texas, and both looked very similar. They could pass as sisters. There are differences, such as Bradford's car being a yucky yellow, and Amber's killer being a black truck. Amber was taken in daylight, and Jennifer in the night. Still, there is no information if that has been looked at. Today, Jennifer is married to her husband and is a mother of two, and got her voice back. A girl who lay dying in a field is now a mom. And it's because she refused to give up. It was the fall of 1978. Mary Vincent was a typical 15-year-old girl at the time. She had some family struggles at the time and decided to run away from home to her grandfather's house. She was around Mount Estill, California, when her life would change forever. She was hitchhiking, hoping to get a ride. At the time, hitchhiking was a common practice by young folks, not having the same danger as it does today, even though it was still dangerous. A middle-aged man named Lawrence Singleton would pull up to her in a blue van offering her a ride to where she wanted to go. She wasn't sure at first, but eventually said yes. He would pick up a few other people before dropping all of them off. However, he wouldn't let Mary go. Instead, he kept driving, rather than drive to where she wanted to go. Then he went further into the desert, and she got scared. But it was too late. He made her unconscious and then tore her clothes off, where he sexually abused her. Despite her cries to stop, he didn't. He then took out a hatchet and cut both her arms off. He then threw her into a ravine, but she refused to die there, knowing if she did, he would have another victim. She packed dirt into her arms and climbed up the ravine. She was found the next day by two people in a car, where she was rushed to a hospital. It was far too late to save her arms, so she needed to get prosthetic arms. She was able to give a detailed account of Singleton, who was arrested for attempted murder and other charges. In court, Singleton was sentenced to just 12 years in prison, causing outrage and cries for change. He would only serve 8, causing more outrage. Mary knew a man like him wouldn't change, and she was right. In 1997, Singleton would murder a 31-year-old woman named Roxanne Haynes in Tampa, Florida. He received a death sentence but died in prison from cancer in 2001. Mary was angry, as she knew it would happen. Mary would help change laws in California, making sure people like Singleton got harsher sentences. She is now an artist making thousands of paintings. She's also a wife and mother of 2. Mary didn't just survive. She made the world a safer place by telling her story and getting laws changed. Singleton should have never been released. But as long as people like Mary fight for their lives and make change, they won't be. Andy Warhol is one of the most well-known artists of the 20th century. One of his most famous works is Campbell's Soup Can from 1962. In the 60s, he would become a filmmaker, making many of his own movies. He became a pop culture icon of the 1960s and is still known for his work today. However, some might not know he was almost murdered. On June 3, 1968, Warhol went to his studio called The Factory, like any other day. He went on the elevator and went to his office to answer the phone. Just as he did, a woman took out a .32 caliber pistol and shot him 3 times, the bullets going through vital organs. The woman also shot an art critic named Mario Amaya and tried to shoot Warhol's manager, Fred Hughes, but the gun jammed. The woman left as Warhol was rushed to the hospital. He was in critical condition, and was even declared dead. Doctors had little hope he would live, but they tried. They performed an open chest surgery on him that lasted 5 hours. Even in the days after, Warhol still had a chance of dying. The surgery was successful. However, his life was changed. The woman who shot him was Valerie Solanos. She was a radical feminist who wrote a manifesto called the Scum Manifesto, which called for the extinction of all males to create an all-female society. It blames males for all the problems of the world, and even states the world would be better without them. While some see it as a radical test, others think it's more of a parody. Solanos grew up abused and even had times being homeless. She also had mental issues for some time. In 1967, she met Warhol and asked him to read a script she made to be made into a play. The script, Up Your Ass, was about a woman who hates men and kills a man. Warhol agreed to read it. However, Solanos grew angry when Warhol apparently lost it. She thought Warhol was going to steal it and take credit for it. This caused her mental illness to worsen. On that day, she decided to get revenge by killing him. After she got him, she left the building. However, she turned herself in later that day. She was charged with attempted murder, assault, and illegal possession of a firearm. She was also diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. At her trial, she pleaded guilty. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison and psychotic hospitals. After her release, she continued to have problems with her mental health. She was mostly ignored until her death in 1988 at 52. However, it did give more attention to her manifesto, which is still published today. As for Warhol, his life changed. Before the shooting, he was a detached, chaotic pop artist. But after, he was much more businesslike and private. He had PTSD, getting a fear of death. He also had to wear a surgical corset for the rest of his life, due to the injuries. The factory, that used to be open door, got more security. His art also changed, becoming darker. He would live another 20 years, dying in 1988, at 58. But to those who knew him, he was never the same. Warhol's assassination attempt shows the dangers of mental illness that isn't treated, and obsession. Andy Warhol lived, but the Andy Warhol died in 1968. On November 8, 1961, eye doctor Arthur Duperrault and his family sailed on a yacht called the Bluebell from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to spend a week-long vacation in the Bahamas. The family was from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and dreamed of this vacation for years, planning and saving for it. The rest of the family consisted of Arthur's wife Jean and their 3 kids, 14-year-old Brian, 11-year-old Terry Jo, and 7-year-old Renee. Arthur brought his friend Julian Harvey, who was a yachtsman himself. Harvey brought his wife, Mary Dean. The family would spend the next few days traveling the Florida Keys. On the night of the 12th, Terry Jo woke up when she heard screaming. When she went on board, she saw her father and brother dead on the floor and blood. Harvey forced her back down. When she saw water, though, he told her the boat was sinking. Harvey jumped on a dinghy, leaving her alone. With no other option, she jumped on a small raft on the boat before it went down under. For the next 84 hours, Terry Jo drifted alone with no food or water. It seemed she was doomed to die. But then a miracle happened. A captain named Nicholas Spakadaglias, on the Greek freighter, Captain Theo, saw her adrift. He and the other shipmates were astonished. They rescued her, with one crew member taking her picture. She was taken to a hospital where she was treated for her hypothermia, sunburn, and dehydration. After she recovered, she told her story. Little did she know Harvey was still alive, and that all this was no accident. Harvey was rescued a couple days before on the Gulf Lion. He said he was the sole survivor of the Bluebell. According to him, a strong swell caused the boat to turn and the mast to snap. He tried to save everyone, but was unable to. He was able to get Renee's body though. He tried to revive her, but it was too late. He was still on the boat when he learned of Terry Joe's rescue. He then said, "Oh my God," before adding happily, "Isn't that wonderful?" He was told there would be an investigation. However, just hours later, he went to the Sandman Motel under the name John Moreau. There, he committed suicide by cutting himself with a razor blade. His suicide note said, "I got tired and nervous. I couldn't stand it anymore." He wished for his son Lawrence to be taken care of and to be buried at sea. It's thought he killed his wife for insurance fraud and collected $20,000. The Duberoff family were probably witnesses to him murdering her, so he had to get rid of them. It's unknown why he let Terry live. Terry returned to Wisconsin to live with her extended family. She changed her name to Terry and didn't talk about her survival for years. She eventually married and had 3 kids. In 2010, she released a memoir called Alone, Orphaned on the Ocean. She still lives in Wisconsin today. What was supposed to be a fun family vacation turned into a nightmare. Terry's family has been gone for over 60 years now. But Terry made sure she or them wouldn't be forgotten. Sean already has a video on here, so not much time will be dedicated to him here. But he still gets a special place here. On October 6, 2002, 11-year-old Sean Hornbeck asked his mom and stepdad if he could play outside on his bike. They said yes, just as long as he was back by dark. By that evening, his parents grew worried. They called the police and a search was made, but they couldn't find him or his bike. Days, months, and years passed, and he was still gone. Many came to accept he was probably dead, but his parents held on to hope. However, on January 8, 2007, his parents' prayers were answered. Sean was found alive. He'd been gone for over 4 years since he was last seen, but he was alive. He was found with another boy named Ben Omby. Sean was reunited with his parents. The man who took him was named Michael Devlin. Not long after, Sean told his story. He was riding his bike when Devlin asked him for help. He then kidnapped him, keeping him in his apartment. Around Halloween, he planned on killing him. He started to strangle Sean to death. Sean begged for his life, and Devlin stopped. He told him he would let him live on one condition. He had to live with him and pretend to be his son. If he wouldn't, he would kill him and his parents. Sean agreed. So for over 4 years, Sean Hornbeck was Sean Devlin. Even though he wanted to leave, Devlin warned him he would kill him. Sean and Ben were found as a witness thinks he saw Ben by a certain truck. The truck belonged to Devlin. Sean even thought about killing himself at times, but in the end, chose not to. Sean did the unlikely. Most children who are missing for that long are dead. He's one of the lucky ones. Just maybe there are more out there like him, waiting to be found. There we have it. Those are 5 cases of people who survived attempted murder. These 5 souls live to tell their tale, and maybe even help others like them. Through their wit, bravery, and hope, they showed they weren't ready to leave this world yet. The people who tried to kill them would get their punishments, as they should. Sadly, not all victims survive. Not all suspects are caught. They continue to live normal lives with friends and family, none the wiser. Victims' families wonder if they will ever be caught. Maybe even the victims themselves wonder that in the afterlife. Luckily, DNA technology is catching up more of these murderers, or would-be murderers. Even if the suspect is dead, there's at least some closure. Hopefully, it will continue to get better and catch more. Let us hope there will be more survivors. Maybe some missing people are still out there, waiting to tell their tale. Because if these 5 got the chance to, so do many more.